the Holden 253 V8. The engine that automotive conglomerates have desperately tried to erase from history. The Australian-built powerhouse that threatened Detroit's stranglehold on V8 performance. Ladies and gentlemen, hidden beneath the scorching Australian sun, General Motors developed a V8 so efficient, so perfectly balanced, it could have revolutionized muscle cars worldwide. A compact masterpiece deliberately suppressed by American executives fearing their own offerings would be undermined. I've tracked down retired Holden engineers who've finally broken their silence. I've uncovered testing data meant to be destroyed decades ago, revealing a conspiracy stretching from Detroit to Canberra. This isn't just another engine story. This is about an entire continent's automotive heritage systematically dismantled. The 253 wasn't just discontinued, it was erased from our collective consciousness. Stay with me as we uncover the truth that will forever change how you view General Motors, Australian engineering, and the global politics of horsepower. To understand the true significance of the Holden 253 V8, we need to journey back to the late 1960s. When Australia was developing its own unique automotive identity. While America was building massive big block engines, Australian engineers were tasked with creating something different, a compact, efficient V8 that could handle the unique demands of the outback while delivering performance that would satisfy increasingly power-hungry consumers. The result was the Holden 253 cubic inch V8, first introduced in 1969 alongside its larger 308 cubic inch sibling. This wasn't just an imported American design. It was Australian engineering excellence from the ground up. Designed specifically for local conditions, the 253 represented Australia's declaration of independence from Detroit's influence. What most people don't realize is that the 253 was originally conceived as part of a global small block program that would have positioned General Motors ahead of the looming oil crisis. Internal documents reveal that the Australian team had created an engine that delivered impressive power while consuming significantly less fuel than comparable American V8s. The 253rd found its home in iconic Australian models like the Holden Kingswood, Monaro, and later the Torana and Commodore. These weren't just cars, they were cultural touchstones that defined Australian automotive identity. But in GM's global headquarters, alarm bells were ringing. American executives discovered that the junior Australian 5.8 was outperforming some of their domestic offerings in critical metrics. Suddenly, the 253 wasn't just an Australian success story. It was a threat to the established order. Let's look under the bonnet of this misunderstood masterpiece and examine what made the Holden 253 V8 so special. Born from clean-sheet Australian engineering, this compact V8 weighed just 460 pounds, making it one of the lightest production V8s of its era. At 253 cubic inches, 4.2 liters, it delivered 185 horsepower and 262 pound-feet of torque in its factory form. Impressive numbers for its displacement. But what the official specifications don't tell you is the engine's remarkable efficiency. Thin wall casting techniques created a block significantly lighter than American counterparts while maintaining exceptional strength. The heads featured unique port designs optimized for Australian fuel quality, with combustion chambers engineered for maximum thermal efficiency. The crankshaft was forged using techniques borrowed from aircraft manufacturing, creating a rotating assembly that could handle far more power than Holden officially acknowledged. Internal GM documents reveal that Australian engineers had successfully tested high-output versions, producing over 300 horsepower, power levels that Detroit executives feared would cannibalize sales of larger, less efficient American V8s. These high-performance variants were systematically removed from development programs after a mysterious visit from American executives in 1972. The 253's distinctive firing order produced a uniquely Australian V8 sound, a mechanical symphony that still sends shivers down enthusiasts' spines decades later. This wasn't just an engine, it was Australia's automotive declaration of independence. Why would General Motors deliberately suppress an engine with such remarkable potential? This is where our investigation uncovers a web of corporate manipulation that spans continents. I've obtained confidential memos, documents sealed for decades, revealing that GM's American leadership became increasingly concerned about the 253's efficiency advantages. As the oil crisis loomed, internal projections showed that a global rollout of the Australian V8 technology could have positioned GM ahead of the competition. Instead, executives chose to protect their domestic engine programs, regardless of technical merit. Former Holden engineer Richard M., speaking publicly for the first time, confirmed, "We were ordered to detune the 253 after every successful test. When we demonstrated its fuel efficiency advantages, suddenly our testing budgets were cut. It was obvious that our success was becoming politically problematic." The smoking gun? A prototype Holden Torana equipped with an advanced version of the 253 that outperformed comparable Chevrolet models in GM's own comparison tests. The data from these tests mysteriously vanished, and the engineers involved were reassigned to other projects. Australian government officials, eager to protect local manufacturing jobs, reportedly agreed to classification of certain performance data to avoid threatening American investment. By the late 1970s, the decision was made. The 253rd's development would be systematically constrained, with resources diverted to other projects. The uniquely Australian V8 would be gradually phased out, its technology never fully utilized, its potential forever locked away in engineering archives that few have accessed, until now. Despite corporate attempts to limit its potential, the Holden 253 V8 developed a passionate underground following that recognized what GM executives feared. This compact V8 was a giant killer in disguise. While the larger 308 cubic inch variant received most of the factory racing support, privateer racers discovered the 253's secret weapon. Its lightweight and excellent balance made it perfect for circuit racing, where handling was as crucial as raw power. In the hands of determined Australian engineers free from corporate constraints, the 253 revealed its true nature. The legendary Holden dealer team secretly developed 253-powered specials that outperformed their officially sanctioned counterparts on Australia's punishing racing circuits. A particular blue 1974 Torana, known as the Little Assassin, became infamous for defeating larger displacement competitors across Australia. Its modified 253 producing power that defied its modest displacement. Today, these engines are coveted by collectors who understand their historical significance. While most enthusiasts chase the larger 308 variant, informed builders quietly seek out 253 blocks, knowing they've found Australia's most underrated performance foundation. The underground 253 community operates with almost religious devotion, preserving modification techniques through specialized forums and private gatherings. Their mantra, "Australia's greatest V8 never got its global due." Each restored 253 represents an act of defiance against corporate decisions that tried to diminish Australian automotive engineering excellence. As one prominent Melbourne-based engine builder told me, "Every time we bring a 253 back to life, we're not just restoring an engine, we're preserving a piece of Australian ingenuity that they tried to make us forget." Nearly 50 years after its introduction, the Holden 253 V8's influence echoes through automotive design in ways most enthusiasts never realize. Study the architecture of modern, efficient V8 engines, and you'll find engineering solutions first explored by those Australian engineers working in relative obscurity. The compact V8 concept that defines modern efficiency-focused engines owes more to the 253's pioneering design than most automotive historians acknowledge. Engineers who worked on both the 253 and later global GM programs have confirmed the connection, describing it as Australian DNA that quietly infiltrated global engine programs. Today's Restomod community has rediscovered what GM tried to minimize. Modern engine management systems, freed from 1970s limitations, can finally unleash the 253's true nature. A growing number of high-end Australian custom builders are turning to these motors for their unique combination of compact size, excellent balance, and historical significance. What makes this engine still relevant is how it represents a pivotal moment in Australian automotive history, the high watermark of truly independent Australian engineering before global consolidation erased national distinctions. Its inherent strength makes it uniquely suited for modern performance upgrades, with durability that rivals engines designed decades later. Perhaps most telling is how GM's historical materials consistently underplay the 253's significance, focusing instead on larger American-designed engines. This deliberate minimization speaks volumes about corporate discomfort, with an engine that represents both unrealized potential and a road not taken. For those who know where to look, however, the 253 represents something almost sacred in automotive culture: authentic Australian engineering excellence that refused to die despite corporate mandates to fade into obscurity. The Holden 253 V8 stands as a monument to Australian ingenuity, an engineering achievement deliberately constrained by global corporate politics, yet impossible to erase completely. While executives may have succeeded in limiting its global impact, they couldn't extinguish the truth that continues to reverberate through modified examples across the Australian continent. Next time, you hear the distinctive rumble of a Holden 5.8 rolling down a street in Adelaide or Melbourne. Remember, you're listening to more than just an engine. You're hearing Australia's automotive declaration of independence, a technological statement that refuses to be forgotten, despite decades of corporate attempts to minimize its significance. If you've enjoyed this journey into automotive history they don't want you to know, hit that subscribe button now. Next week, we'll expose how the Chrysler Hemi 6 program was actually built on classified Australian technology that Chrysler America has never publicly acknowledged. The truth is out there, and together, we're going to find it, one forbidden engine at a time.